and tell us a little bit more about, think back to, what do you wish you knew when you were first starting out that you can tell our listeners that might help them grow?
Do you know what? I'll answer it in two ways. One, from a practical business perspective. I wish I had known how pricing strategy works, because I grew my revenue and my profit. I doubled those between year 1 and year 2.
I did that too.
And people said to me, people were like, "Oh, you must work all the time. Like, Nicki, you were working full time before," because they assumed to double your revenue meant you did twice as much work. And I didn't do twice as much work. I did the same amount of work, and I changed my pricing strategy.
Work smarter, not harder.
That's exactly it.
Girl. Love it.
It's true. And so that's exactly like what I did. I changed how I was charging. I moved to a value-based pricing model. And I wish I had known that. And it's funny because people will say to me, like, "Well, Nicki, I don't have degrees. I don't have an MBA. How can I run a business?" And I tell you, an MBA didn't teach me anything about being an entrepreneur and owning a business and pricing. It taught me about how to figure out, well, if I work X amount and I have this much to pay, I need to charge X amount per hour. It didn't teach me anything about value-based pricing. And that's something I wish I had known. So I make a real effort when I'm speaking with people, either formally or informally, around understanding pricing. The other piece I really encourage with them, but I did know this to a certain extent, is marketing is an investment, not an expense. Because if you look at marketing for your business as an expense, we try to penny pinch and we try to reduce our costs, which is good practice, obviously, especially when you're starting out. We have to be very aware of our expenses. But marketing is what actually builds your business. It is part of your foundation. And I was fortunate because my network did a lot of my word of mouth marketing for me. And I invested a lot of time. I did not have to invest a lot of dollars.
I love that. I'm writing that down.
When you look at it as an investment, one, it comes with risk, similar to any type of investment we make. If we invest in the stock market, there's a risk. And we have to look at marketing comes with a risk. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it will have a good return on that investment, and sometimes it won't. If you look at it as an expense, then it's purely money out the window, and we never really look back to see if we'd spent that appropriately. Whereas our investments, we tend to watch. You can log in, you can see what's happening with your investments. So that's another piece, which I did a little bit in the beginning. I do it a lot now with my marketing, but viewing it as that investment. The other piece I wish I had known was the part around imposter syndrome. And I knew that in an academic sense. I mean, I'd heard of it. I had never really looked and had anybody say, "Nicki, do you think you deal with this? Where's your value?" And never really looked at it from a self-reflection perspective. And so didn't feel I had the self-worth and the value to offer, despite people saying, "You worked in the business for 18 years, you have all of these credentials, of course it's a value." I'm thinking, I think I'm doing a pretty good job fooling them, which is that classic sign of imposter syndrome. And I wish I had known that in the beginning, to really look at myself and say, I mean, like any challenge you may have, admitting it, once you've recognized, you see it in yourself, saying, "Yes, that's me. I don't want to be like that. This is going to negatively impact me in my life in these ways. I can't fix it. It's not a curable illness." Right? It's not a mental health illness that there's a treatment for. We know we can work around it. And I often work with people that if it's a barrier, we can't remove the barrier. It sits there. Imposter syndrome is there. We will either go over it, under it, or around it.
Ooh, okay.
Because if we try to get rid of it, we will spend a lot of time and energy being blocked there.
Interesting.
I got to deal with my imposter syndrome before I do anything else. I can't go to the bank and get my financing because I have imposter syndrome. And so you don't go. And you keep trying to, as opposed to saying, "Yeah, you know what? I have it and that sucks. But you know what? I'm still value. I'm still this." You can get into a lot of positive self-talk. all of this.
Mhm.
A lot of people will keep like a gratitude journal or a social proof journal of positive things people have said to them about their knowledge and what they have to offer. And you go back and read it. Because when you read it and you see the words of others, that gives us confidence.
And I just see positivity all over you. I mean, everything that you frame is positive, and I just think that's incredible. It's absolutely beautiful. You know,